Changing the pace now, joining us is Kinsey Schofield, commentator and host of the To Die For Daily podcast. Kinsey, great to see you again. Look, it's a big day for Meghan Markle. 5 years after making her royal exit, Meghan is returning to her influencing roots. Her Netflix lifestyle series, With Love, Meghan, is about to be released. So what can we expect? How do you expect it's going to be received?
I think a lot of people are going to at least watch that first episode to see what it's all about. I think it's going to be similar to her blog, The Tig, when it comes to, kind of recipes, decoration, kind of all over the place. But I do think that there is going to be some cynicism around this pursuit of joy. After almost 5 years now of real vengeance and bitterness towards the British royal family, it's hard to accept this happy-go-lucky, no issues like a agenda that she's trying to push today.
Well, it seems we're going to learn a lot from this series. It's been revealed that Meghan has revealed one of her favourite tips for elevating an ordinary dinner, and that is to order Chinese takeaway and put it on a plate. Wow. In an interview with People magazine in the US, Meghan says that she will encourage viewers to strive for balance, not perfection, and even when she gets takeout, she will try to plate it beautifully. I mean, all the money that's being thrown at this influencing image of hers. Now we're learning to put your Chinese takeout on a plate. Is this for real?
These are the kinds of tips and tricks that I would personally message you with on WhatsApp because they are just so important that I have to share. Yeah, I don't know what publicist was like, that quote's a go. It's interesting because it feels like, and in the show too, she's going out of her way to not be controversial, to not say anything that could be, could turn into clickbait or a headline. So she borders on boredom, but then there's also elements of her where she's trying to explain things away. In this People magazine article, she explains that the reason she likes the title Sussex is because it's a part of her love story. That's just her trying to justify why she wants us to refer to her as a duchess today.
Absolutely. Look, I don't think I'll be watching it, but I'll bring you on to tell us all about it once it is released. It was Hollywood's Night of Nights last night, and I think before we get into all the Oscars chat, we have to look back at one of the best Hollywood awards speeches possibly ever given by Ricky Gervais at the Golden Globes in 2020, where he delivered this savage message to celebrities.
If you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and
any excuse to play Ricky Gervais, I will. I absolutely love him. But that was a few years ago. Let's talk about what happened last night. The 97th Academy Awards, they've been held. What did you make of it?
I mean, I think that Ricky Gervais video should be played on loop in the green room at every and any award show, because I did feel like this. There were a few political moments. Even at one point, Samuel L. Jackson, according to a lip reader, turns to Selena Gomez and says, wow, he made that pretty political, didn't he? And Selena Gomez is like, yeah, he did. So, yeah, I thought it was boring, political. And what an odd time to throw this after half of our city just burned down. Do you know how many people that walked the red carpet or even took home a statue last night? They don't have a mantle to put it on. The clothing that they wore, they don't have a closet to hang it back up in. I mean, what a bizarre time for everybody to go, give each other handshakes and slap each other on the back and say, good job.
And there are a few strange moments, weren't there, including when Adrian Brody removed a piece of chewing gum from his mouth. It seems pretty gross. Can you talk us through that one?
So he wins and he's heading up to accept his award. He takes his chewing gum out of his mouth and he tosses it to his girlfriend, who, by the way, Harvey Weinstein's ex-wife, and I would stress, hasn't she suffered enough? This is supposed to be like Hollywood elite and, one of the most glamorous nights in the world, and there goes the chewing gum across the room.
Yeah.
It just was not appropriate.
Absolutely not. And then also the very end of the night for Hollywood, a magnitude 3.9 rather earthquake hits right after the awards. Reporters say they heard screams, they felt the shaking. What can you tell us?
I can tell you that I wonder if this is God's way of punishing us. I'm just kidding. No, it was a bizarre thing to happen when you have so many high profile people in the same space, right? So there were a lot of shrieks, and I felt it. And to me, it sounded like a car hit a building because there was just so much movement. But yeah, interesting that took place when it did. Perhaps kismet, who knows?
I want to talk to you about the acceptance speech of the team behind No Other Land. They used this acceptance speech to vilify Israel, and a crowd of Hollywood elites, of course, cheered. Take a listen to this.
Always fearing settlers' violence, home demolitions, and forest bill displacements that my community, Masafir Yatta, is living and facing every day under the Israeli occupation. No other land reflect the harsh reality that we have been enduring for decades and still persist as we call on the world to take serious actions to stop the injustice and to stop the ethnic cleansing of Palestinian people.
Now, the speech went on to criticise the war in Gaza and blame not Hamas, but the United States.
We live in a regime where I am free under civilian law, and Basil is under military laws that destroy his life and he cannot control. There is a different path, a political solution without ethnic supremacy, with national rights for both of our people. And I have to say, as I am here, the foreign policy in this country is helping to block this path. And, you know,
So that entire speech, there was no mention of Hamas terrorists and what they're doing in Gaza, but, you know, plenty of cheers to take a shot as they take a shot at the United States.
I mean, there is a noticeable decline in ratings for major award shows over the past decade. Specifically, politics has played a role in the decline of Oscar viewership, with some audiences feeling like the ceremony has become too focused on, there's your example, activism, rather than celebrating film. Also, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the Academy has made changes to increase diversity, like new inclusion requirements for Best Picture eligibility, which some critics argue prioritizes politics over artistic merit. Despite the uptick, you know, occasionally, like when there are big viral moments, the overall trend has been downward, and it's because of moments like that. That's not why we go to the movies. That's not why we watch award shows. And don't stand here in my country and criticize my country that's given you this incredible opportunity and that has free speech. And that's the only reason why you're able to stand on our stage and tear into us.
Well said. On a lighter note, the Kardashians, well, their names have been brought up again. There's speculation that Kylie Jenner served as Timothée Chalamet's bad luck charm. Social media users are putting his Oscars loss down to the infamous Kardashian curse. Can you explain this one to us?
I mean, have you not seen it for yourself? I mean, what man that marries or dates a Kardashian goes on to have any sort of professional success whatsoever? Like, you know, thoughts and prayers to Kanye West. But yeah, it seems like everyone that dates a Kardashian, I'll give Travis Barker. Maybe Travis Barker is the exception. Everyone that dates the Kardashians seems to crash and burn. And fans are speculating that the reason this was not Timothy's big night is because of who was on his arm.
Okay, I'm going to have to get up to date on that trend. But let's look at what's been happening here in Australia, because Green Day's Billy Joe Armstrong, he's performed in Melbourne, and he used his performance as a chance to make a political statement and belt out a message to Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
Elon Musk to shut the up. Don't you want Donald Trump to shut the up?
Kinsey, I'm sure that's what everyone who forked out to get tickets was really hoping to hear. No, not him perform his music, but to hear him make political statements.
You know, it's tough when you're no longer culturally relevant. Green Day hasn't really had mainstream success since American Idiot. I think they had an album called 21st Century Breakdown. Maybe that's the last time they were on the radio regularly. But their cultural impact isn't as strong as it once was, and that must be hard to swallow. And maybe that's what we just witnessed right there. Somebody desperate for it again.
Yeah, we keep hearing it, don't we? Finally, in royal news, it looks like President Trump will be on his way to Buckingham Palace soon. He has accepted an invitation for a state visit from King Charles III. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer presented the invitation to Donald Trump while he was visiting the White House. What can we expect, Kinsey?
I mean, you're going to expect a love fest. You know, the British royal family has historically been instrumental in maintaining and in strengthening the close ties between the United States and the United Kingdom. It helps that the Trump family is especially fond of the British royals. And I think we might have discussed this before. The First Lady, Melania Trump, being pen pals with King Charles for quite some time. That's like one of my favorite fun facts. I think it'll be a nice, friendly visit. A great photo op for sure for President Trump.
Absolutely. Kinsey Schofield, commentator and host of the To Die For Daily podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour.
Thank you.